Hello guys, I hope you can hear us. Okay, we will wait 2 minutes for people who maybe want to join us, and then we will start. Okay, guys, I think we can start. If someone would like to watch it once again, of course, it will be saved on YouTube, so you can always go there. So welcome on Partnerships Development Consultancy Space, and huge congratulations if you even started to think about the application to MC Poland, because believe me, it's really worth it. And today during this consultancy space, today with Monika, Carolina, and Agata, we'll tell you more about partnerships development and PR. So my name is Mary. And before I will start to talk about PD itself, remember about the link, which you can always use to put your questions. So at the end of our consultancy space, we will go there and we will check all of the questions and we will try to answer all of them. Yes, so my name is Mary and I'm MCVP Partnerships Development. So it means that I'm a head of the corner of PD. And the agenda for my part will be like this. I think you saw it before if you attended the previous consultancy spaces. So at the beginning, I would like to give you a really short context of PD in Poland. So you need to know that we are really focused on our partners, and we have two board of partners. First one is for organizations, so you can see it on the screen now. So our strategic partners is EY, then we have main partners, and then supporting, and then meritorious partner. But we are also doing job fairs, and you can also find a board of partners of career days here on the left. So what you need to know about PD in Poland, not only even if you do not think about applying for PD position, I think it's worth to understand the reality as well. So first thing is that you really need to remember about the fact that now over 70% in ISEC for Poland comes from PD. Currently, it's almost 80, and it's not the first year like that. It's happening like 4 years. So that's how the situation look like. And we are doing a lot of employer branding activities like job fairs. We have career days. We are focusing on conferences, commission partnerships, ambassador program, etc. So Monica will tell you more about it later. And we have 3 people in PD, which is me. So as I said, I'm head of the corner. I'm also working with Monica, who is key account manager, and with Carolina, who is MCVP Career Days. And also in our MC, we have MCVP PR, Agata, and Agata is also with me in management team. PD in Poland is focused on 4 pillars, first one is knowledge, then we have money, and then we have PR itself, and also exchanges. So our LCVPs on local level, because we have our commission, are working in these areas. So the first commission we were working with, they are finishing their term in, if I'm not mistaken, 1 day. They were called bad commission because in the past, PD was BD. so business development, and they were really, really strong commission, really active, really loud. So the plenary, you could also see them. They were really engaged in a lot of initiatives, and their focus was like basically events, as well like partnerships with some institutions, and of course income as well. But to give you the perspective, it was not super structured. So like for us to measure the success of each of LCVP, it was kind of hard because they were doing a lot and we knew about it, but because of the fact that it was not structured, we couldn't like give them clear recommendations and clear PD growth path. That's why it started to be a focus for the next commission, which is starting in 1 day. They are called Prodigy, from PD obviously, and they are also like really active. We have a bit less of them, but still I think it's a conscious decision of LCPs. And first semester, in terms of focuses, here you can find our JDs, job descriptions. So all of us in PD Corner, we are accounting specific companies, and it depends on activities which we potentially see that they can be like interested in. I'm mainly responsible for meritocratic support, also for part of PD for exchange strategy. So I'm accounting EY as a company, and together we are doing OGV contest. So it started last year. Our predecessor started that, and then people got subsidies for going on exchange, which in euros is like 250 euros. And from our term, EY agreed to do 2 editions with us, so we are sending 20 people. And with Jeronimo Martins, we are starting OGT contest, so also 10 people will get subsidy. Also, I'm working on insurance. I'm managing our commission, so I'm ahead of them. And also I'm responsible for partnerships for commissions in ISEC for Poland, so they can get hoodies and this kind of stuff, and partially for LinkedIn as well. Monica will tell you more what she's doing later on, but here you can also see. And maybe it looks mysterious, but you need to understand that even if we are responsible for specific part of our strategies, we are also responsible for specific companies. So if I'm working with EY, it means that I can also propose them ambassador program. Then in terms of delivery, it's on Monica. That's how we decided to divide it, and that's how it was also working previously. For Tamara, because we call Karolina Tamara, the main focus is career days, but also she has some companies she's responsible for. So of course, if she's going on a meeting, she's also talking about the whole portfolio. Challenges and partners division. So about partners division, I already mentioned. About partners from board of partners, which you could see on the first slide, and they are divided in terms of also like trades. So if I'm accounting EY, which is a competition for Deloitte, for example, it means that I shouldn't account Deloitte. That's why Monica is doing it. Yes, in terms of challenges, during the first semester, we were trying to, of course, support exchanges operations as much as we could, but on the same time, as you could see, almost 80% of income comes from PD. So we had to divide our focus, and it was hard, like in which moment we should support operations more and in which moment we should focus only on income. It was also connected with needs analysis, because we assumed that like some things can be needed for operations without really checking it in detailed way, and then we were a bit confused, like if what we are doing makes sense, and also like as you can imagine, like company can deliver specific things, so we had to also combine it with our needs. PD growth path, as I already said, the measurements were not clear, so it was also like a challenge to have it clear. It's still, let's say, under construction, but I believe during the next summit, which is happening in 2 weeks, it will be done fully. Also, vindication and budget execution, we realized that some incomes we planned in a wrong timeline, so we couldn't vindicate them, or we did it a bit late. In terms of vision and national goal, you need to understand that actually we decided to focus a lot on external knowledge, meritocratic support, because we believe that like having access to external environment, we shouldn't leave organization in a bubble. So it's really important for us. We are trying to give opportunity to our plenary to have it. Also employer branding, which is connected with pure income, but you also need to understand that our focus was to connect almost all of employer branding activities with exchanges, or at least like plenary needs. So for example, Monica will tell you about initiative in innovation in ambassador program. Career days as a third one, because this is the main revenue which we have, and PD for exchange. So in terms of goal, Our goal is to have 3 million zlotys, which in euro you can see it on the screen, and we know it's a lot, but actually it's just a bit of growth comparing to the previous years. So once again, like we have huge income planned, but we have also a lot of costs. Yes, the future. So here you can see our strategies for the next semester, like the department strategies. It will not be changed a lot, but I think as we realized we are a bit smarter now after the first semester in terms of planning. So we can clearly see like what activities went well and in which thing we should invest our time and resources in general. So knowledge as well, because last term we organized first to train the sellers with IGT, which was super cool. Now we are doing it with both ICX, money. We also need to focus on vindication, for example, but also on selling Youth Speak Forum and World Lesson and exchanges. Because like we were able to, of course, manage with our companies some deals. So now we have to deliver stuff. And in terms of future, if I can say as a let's say ahead for the future for our successors, which we hope will have super soon. PD should obviously support exchanges, but on the same time, once again, we are a huge part of the budget, so we cannot forget about income and current situation. We also believe that employer branding activities are making us credible as organization, and it also gives us visibility. So we believe that we shouldn't resign from it. And also we need to know that our partners are really open for new initiatives. So if you only have an idea which will bring them cool results and they will see potential in it, they are really ready to invest. In terms of MCVP experience, so what I realized after the first semester that you need to be really flexible, and also what you have planned, it's not always what others need, so needs analysis, it's super important. Yeah, we need to be an ambassador of external perspective and environment, because like in MC, we are the people who are attending external events, who are having meetings with companies. So external knowledge simply is the thing which we have on daily basis, and we should be proudly delivering it to our MC as well and to our network. Yes, changes are the only stable thing. So like changes are simply our JD, and like you need to be prepared for that. There's nothing like super stable, but it's fun, I need to say. Yeah, you can adjust. And building relations and needs analysis should be your best friend. Seriously, like I believe PD is all about that, and without these two elements, it's super difficult to be in PD. It's stressful and connected with pressure. That's like maybe obvious, maybe not, but you need to know about it. But at the same time, even if it's challenging, it's definitely worth it. Yes, so now it's time for Monica, and she will tell you more about her part of job description.
Hello, guys. I'm very happy you are here with us. So I will talk a little bit shorter than Mary in terms of points that I have to cover, because, like as she said, we are, as the whole corner, responsible for the same things. So we are mainly working all together. So there's no point for me to repeat our national vision if it's the same for all three of us. But of course, I will go a little bit more into details in terms of what is considering me. So then, the context of key account manager in our MC and in general in Poland is the fact that person on my position is responsible for most of the companies that we have on national index, which means are the companies that are contacted on national level. So I'm responsible for most of them. And then on me, there's most of the employer branding activities that we had, except career days, of course, which are the biggest ones, but it's Karolina's part, so she will cover it later. For me, it's mainly program ambassador, the conferences that we are treating as the employer branding product, and all the sub-products connected with that. With them is the next step, which is the workshop for current EBs on NATCO, which means that those people who are finishing their experience, they're having workshops with the companies. Yes. As well, I am responsible for new sales, which till now was mainly connected with researching on LinkedIn and using other tools and networking events to gather new contacts. PD for exchange, as Mary said, very important part of our JDs. And as well from PD Corner, I am responsible for the synergy with PR, which is mainly considering World's Largest Lesson and Youth Speak Forum. About the first semester, what I was focusing in was about the new employer branding activities. Here I mean the conferences, because till now we didn't sell them as typical sub-products. What we started in our term was actually to create partners for OC team to be sold for the companies, or partners of the day, so they can position themselves more in the organizations. But as well, improvement of the current products that we have, for example, Program Ambassador. What we managed to do at the beginning of our term was to actually sell to the most of the companies that are taking ambassadors on national level, to ensure that they will give sponsorship for the best ambassador to go for OGE during, like after their experience as ambassadors. So that's how it looks like. Of course, like the focus was supporting exchanges. I was from the PD corner mainly responsible for OGX, because that's how we divided somehow with Mary, that she's taking ICX, I'm taking OGX. I know you saw that she was responsible for some of the OGV and OGT project contests, but it was because of accounting of specific companies. So yes, that's why. But I was responsible for gathering needs from OGX and actually delivering them. Then the new sales that I said, so was finding new contacts, conducting meetings, and creating new proposals for the partners, new partners, and program ambassador. That was very important because we were recruiting ambassadors, onboarding them, and then making sure that their experience is going very, very well. Then the challenges, the main ones were that the decision-making process in companies is taking a lot of time. So it is actually sometimes the biggest pain that we have everything almost settled, but we need the final decision. And the new sales, because it was difficult to decide on what we want to focus on in terms of approaching new partners. Should it be supporting exchanges or maybe more employer branding activities? The future of Key Account Manager for me would be the Board of Partners for Sustainable Development Goals, which is the funds for people who are going for a GV connected with a specific SDG. For now, we managed to create this kind of partnership with Deloitte. So this is something definitely to be followed up, and it will be, at least in my term, and later I will suggest it. Then, of course, the ambassadors, because this product is still something that can be very profitable for ISEC members, and to make sure that companies will really enjoy taking ambassadors from ISEC. Of course, income, because we cannot forget what Mary already said, that PD is a big part of the income for the organization, and we want to make sure it is able to survive. So we need to make sure that we are bringing income. Then, of course, reporting, because except the fact that we have to sell everything, then deliver it, we still have to report on that, mainly to the companies, not only to the MC. And it is very important part for the partners to get the report, so it's something we cannot forget. And as well, for me, focus for the future now is to gain more discounts for flights for our EPs that are going abroad. MCV experience, what can I say? Like, for me, the experience is amazing. I love what I do, and I'm enjoying even daily writing emails and calls, because I feel it brings me closer to the goal that we settled for ourselves with the girls. And what else? On my position, it's amazing because we can gain a lot of external knowledge and external point of view, which, as Mary said, somehow can be helpful in terms of the ISEC bubble that we somehow sometimes can be in, but thanks to that, we are not, because we are sharing the experiences. Self-development for myself, because I feel I became a better person during that time. Sometimes, of course, what was difficult was the lack of understanding of my role inside of the MC team, because it is a very external role. I don't have a structure or anything. So I'm just there with the companies and tend to be like out of the team somehow. But it's still all doable. And then what can I say? The experience is a roller coaster indeed. Like, there's a lot of ups and downs, both emotional and professional. But it is all worth it, because what you can gain on this position is just clearly, purely amazing.
Yes, and before we go go further, like one more sentence, because I know that for some entities it's clear that PD is selling IGT. In Poland, we are not doing it. We were trying with some national partners. It didn't work. Like, we were also creating on our planning roadmap for ISEC for Poland, and we believe that in the future it should be started. So far, we want in our term to start with global partners, because we have some of them who also have offers. So that's how it looks like. And now the time is for Karolina.
Yes. So hi, my name is Karolina, or Tamara, or whatever you want, Tamcha, Tamcha, or some other way. And I'm not that serious like on this photo. Don't be afraid. And agenda for my space, my small space, is similar to the girls one. And at the beginning, I will tell you more about the content of career days, because Career Days is Dni Kariery, and it's the biggest job fairs in Poland organized by students, like by us, and it's fully a volunteering experience for our ISEC members, and it's just delivered to the students. And we have over 25 years old. Like our job fairs are that old, and we are the oldest in the market. And now our job fairs are in 9 cities. Like we have 2 editions, autumn edition and spring edition, and now the bigger one, spring edition, is in 9 cities, like the biggest cities in Poland, and autumn edition is in 2 cities, just in Warsaw and in Poznań. And 6 of these locations are at the universities, so it's very important to highlight this, that we are students and we're organizing job fairs at the universities. So yes, that's the point. And ISECers working in 3 different areas, and it's PR, sales, and logistics. And I think in Career Days works approximately like around 100 ISECers in whole Poland. So we have structure. I'm the and that's the word. Yes, so I have OCPs, I have my Teamster, so it's very, very cool, I think, and it's very developing for them. I hope so. And if it comes to my focus and challenges for the first semester, like Career Days, it's not just 1 semester job, but it's full-time 2 semester jobs for me. So I have just 1 focus for 2 of those semesters, and 1 challenge, I think, for whole year. And main focus is PR of Dni Kariery and product communication, because we have over 25 years old, and the products needs to be still developed and still well communicated to the attendees to grow in the number of them. So that's my second focus. And the third one is sales on local level, because what I noticed, somehow we lost the knowledge on local level, how to sell the project and how to show not the impact, but how to show the importance of Career Days and how to deliver it to the companies. And yes, and my main challenges is, of course, huge competition on the market. Those are the companies who are making job fairs just for the income, and we are not doing Career Days for income, like you could notice when Mary was saying that Career Days are just for the organization to simply survive. So all of the incomes from Career Days are going to the organization, and we have limited budget not thanks to that, but because of that. Yes, and when I see the future of Career Days, it's of course for me to keep developing the product and to keep innovate the product, because we are in the I think the part of the of the earth where millennials are the not the key factors, but the most important people, and we have to convince them somehow and attract them somehow to go to the job fairs and just simply talk to the employees, to the companies, not just to look the job offers in the internet and just sit on LinkedIn. So I think it's the best for Career Days to make some innovations to attract people, to show them the leverage of just talking to the people. And of course, our second leverage is that we are students and we are organizing job fairs at the universities. And in my opinion, we know the best what students needs and what student wants. So yes, that's our main leverage, and we should use it in the future. And if it comes to my MCVP experience, I tend to say that I live in my Career Days bubble, not even ISEC bubble, but my Career Days bubble, because I'm working mostly on my own. I have just synergy with my PD girls, and I think we are working pretty well. So I'm mainly working alone, not alone, but with my OCPs and my Teamsters, but I'm not that connected to core of ISEC and exchanges. But it's very cool experience that I highly recommend to all of you if you want to develop in many different fields like sales, PR, organizing huge events, or if you are into organizing events or something like similar. And yeah, I think that's it. And if you have any questions, please remember about that link, like you have on the screen, to ask questions. Thank you.
Hello guys, I hope you can hear me well. My name is Agata and I will tell you more about public relations. I'm MCVP peer in ISEC for Poland. And concerning what is the agenda for the super short space, I will tell you more about the context of peer, the vision that I created with the whole team for this area for our term. What were the focuses and challenges for the first semester? What is the future of peer in the next semester? How my MCVP experience is going? And just a small reminder about questions, so please use the link. We'll be happy to answer all of them. When it comes to the context of peer in ISEC for Poland, you need to understand that peer has been changing quite a lot, and it's a very flexible position. For the past 2 terms, it happened to be a separate position in management team, like Mega told you in the beginning, and it's a separate department from PD. So we are delivering to you this consultancy space together because we both cooperate with partners, but peer is a separate department. But what is super important, it doesn't mean that it has to stay this way for the next term. So for this, I would really advise you to contact Daniel, how he sees the structure, because globally peer sometimes happens to be a separate department, sometimes under PD. So it can for sure change in the future. As I told you, JD of peer is also extremely flexible and it has been changing from one term to another. For example, last year, peer was also responsible for recruitment, which did not happen in my term because we had a bigger marketing colleague that could take over this function. But as you can see, like what falls under the category of peer, it really depends on the needs of the entity. But basically, the JD of PR almost every year includes everything that is connected with our external visibility, presence, and partnerships, but that doesn't bring direct financial benefit. So speaking like in a very straightforward way, PR is all about the non-corporate partnership that does not bring money to ISEC. As PR, I'm also responsible for engagement with ISEC products, such as Youth Speak Forum and Local Volunteer. Of course, remember that in Poland, we don't run Local Volunteer as a product, but Youth Speak Forum, we do. For the vision for the area, what is important here is that PR is, like the main role of PR is ensuring that ISEC is visible externally, that people in the country know about ISEC in Poland. It's also about creating and sustaining valuable non-corporate partnerships. And the keyword here is valuable, because trust me, there are many either events organizers or NGOs or different people approaching us and trying to get a partnership with us, which sometimes happen not to be extremely valuable for the organization and doesn't really bring much benefits. PR is also trying to support exchanges, that I will tell you about it later. And another point is crisis management. So it's something that can happen every time. And if you sometimes see all these moments when the brand of ISEC can be harmed, when there is, for example, a customer really complaining about the experience, or someone presenting us in a very bad way and creating this kind of black or negative PR, this is also the JD of MCVP PR, to deal with it with some degree of diplomacy and to solve this issue. And the last point, like I told you, is delivering EWA products. For the biggest questions of the area, that I think will be also like one of the biggest challenges for me in the upcoming semester, and maybe also for you in the next term, the thing is that you know that PR does not bring money to the organization, speaking very honestly. So the question is how to at least minimize the costs that it requires, because PR is also about organizing events, and you will see it in a second. And every event that we organize, it also brings some costs to the organization. So the big question is here how to minimize this cost. You will see that usually it's with the beautiful synergy with PD, with key account manager, that simply brings the money to cover the gaps. But the question is actually how to not create these gaps. The second question is how to support exchange product in a more direct way. Trust me that PR is an area that is not very, very closely connected with exchanges. It's something somewhere, well, let's say somewhere between the core of ISEC and completely external world outside ISEC. So the question is here how to actually connect this external world with our external exchange products. And the last question is how to find the focus of the area, because trust me, there are many things that fall under the JD of PR, such as event management, account management of our non-corporate partners, crisis management if anything goes wrong, and also university relations that we kind of started this year.
So as you can see, maybe in many entities you see that there is a PR manager or a huge NST team working under PR. Well, in our entity, it's like it's a smaller department. So the big question is how to find the focus of the area and know how to handle this focus between many things happening at the same time. For the first semester priorities, we were focusing a lot on the Youth Speak Forum. We did a research about possible benefits. We refreshed the materials concerning the Youth Speak Forum, and we did the research about the venue and so on. In the end, you need to know that we decided to postpone the time of the Youth Speak simply because we were trying to cover the gaps that it can generate in our budget, meaning we're trying to look for a very decent venue that would not cost a fortune at the same time. Another priority was U4GG content alignment, which required big synergy with marketing. So it's also something that you can definitely expect in the future. For the exchange support, it was mainly trying to align the visa processes for our country partners, which happened so far for Egypt and Morocco. We have very clear expectations between us and the embassy of the country. We got in contact with the Ministry of Entrepreneurship and Technology in Poland, which might be a little bit surprising at first, but we have a really good contact with them. They invited us as speakers to some of their conferences, and we also started the university relation bases in Poland. For the brand visibility, I focused on media partnership with especially the magazine that is called in Polish Kariera w Finansach. We are also present at many chosen events, and here what you can see, OPOS stands for the Association of Student Organizations in Poland that we were still part in, and we're also part of the kind of executive board of this organization. We're also cooperating very closely with the United Nations Information Center that invited us to co-create with them the conference about human rights. Also, my focus was Employer of the Year, which is the research that is done by ISEC in Poland, which is very important because I think it doesn't happen in many other ISEC entities. It's a research about the best employer for young people that is conducted with around 3,000 young people in Poland, then analyzed, and the report is presented to our partners and companies. And the last priority was the alumni management, and so far I can say that we can have quite a decent relation with the board of alumni in Poland. For the future, the plan for the next semester is, as you can see here, presence in the events, especially World Largest Lesson that we want to organize for the first time in ISEC for Poland, and Youth Speak Forum. OGX support, which will mainly be about developing university relations, cooperations with private schools and universities that might be that may be potential for many signups for OGT, and creating partnership for OGV with one organization. For the ICX support, it will be creating partnerships with governmental institutions and embassies, so with even more embassies to support our country partners, opening GE and GT opportunities with our alumni, and starting long-term relations with media. Okay, when it comes to my MCVP experience, I will tell you more what you can expect from the role of MCVP PR in Poland. First of all, I would definitely advise you to be a very self-driven person, self-manageable person. And how to explain this thing is very simple. As PR, you really work on your own, and you have a huge degree to which you can be very independent in your work and your own experience, simply because you don't have a commission, you also don't have your department, and so on. So I think it's like the most independent position that you can get in MC, to be very honest. Another thing is that I think very similarly to Tamara and Career Days, you don't work extremely closely with internal ISEC activities, for example, with exchanges, our commissions, and so on. So you need to remember that it's something that you can also expect from this role, which is sometimes very cool because you really can get external understanding of ISEC, which in the end of the day, trust me, can help you with understanding the organization better. You definitely need to have a patience for external partners, simply because we don't have this beautiful leverage of signing the formal documents and partnerships or expecting anyone to pay or not pay. So really most of our partnerships are about mutual agreement, which sometimes requires a huge dose of patience. Also, what is very nice about this experience is connecting externals with ISECers, which I've already mentioned, and bringing these two worlds a little bit more together. What you definitely need to have or develop is assertiveness to our partners, because like I told you, there will be many people approaching you and trying to offer a partnership that might not be extremely beneficial for the organization, but that will take a lot of your time. And in the end of the day, it will not be the best decision that you can take. Also, the ability to prioritize and choose the most important things to focus on is definitely very needed, because you are a one-person department. And for the last thing, I would really wish you to enjoy the ride with either applying for PR or even becoming PR of ISEC for Poland, because it's a really cool job and you can really learn a lot. And I think like the biggest benefit is that you can shape JD around what you are good at or around what you want to develop. And it's extremely flexible, so you can also leave a legacy that you decide to shape in the beginning of your term. So just reminding you about the form for questions. I hope that some of you already wrote them. If not, please do it now. We'll be super happy to answer your questions. So far, I just checked with Tamara. There is one question. Oh, thank you, Daniela. What has been the focus of PR this term? Okay, like I told you in the beginning, I can even scroll back to this slide. The focus for the first semester is like you can see here. It was the preparation for Youth Speak Forum, aligning the content for Youth4GG, supporting exchanges, or at least starting to support exchanges in a more direct way, working definitely on brand visibility, like presence at different events and so on, cooperation with UN, this research called Employer of the Year, and starting the partnership with alumni. Okay, then we have questions from Oleg. How can cooperation with government develop in the future? That's a very, very good question. So thank you, Oleg, because I am also very passionate about this idea. So first of all, we want to start the cooperation with government to treat them as a kind of mediator between us and other organizations. So we had an idea to approach chosen ministries. For example, the ministry we already are in contact with, this one of entrepreneurship and technology, or maybe the Ministry of Culture or the Ministry of Education, and ask them to put us in contact or to give us contacts with organizations that can help our exchange programs, especially IGV. So for example, with different NGOs that work in Poland, or maybe associations that gather different NGOs and so on. So this is definitely our idea for the future. If you consider embassies also as a part of government relations, that's also something that we are trying to establish. So far we have let's say, clarified visa process for two entities, which is Egypt and Morocco. But in the ideal state, we would love to have something that is called ISEC visa for certain entities, which means that there is a simplified visa process for a certain entity, for EPs coming from a certain entity partner, which is something that is already happening in a couple of entities globally. But so far, we didn't reach this level when it comes to embassy relations in Poland. I hope I answered your questions. If you have anything else, please write. Remember that you can also ask questions about PD, key account management, career days, and of course PR. I will be still happy to answer. So guys, we will wait 2 more minutes until 5:40. So if you have any more questions, please write to us. If not, remember that you can always approach us on any communication channels. We'll be happy to help you with the applications. Okay, guys, so it's already 5:40. So like we told you, if you have any more questions, please approach us individually. Thank you so much for this action space and answering all your questions and presenting our areas.
And if you will have more questions, of course, don't hesitate to put them in the spreadsheet, so then we can answer you texting them, not only telling you now. So don't worry, you can ask them later as well.
Thank you guys for the space.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.